Welcome, welcome. It's the Charmed Life podcast. I'm Tricia Carr, your host. So nice to be here with you. I am a spiritual teacher, an intuitive, a transpersonal hypnotherapist, and a channel. And this is my channel. If you're watching it live, we do this podcast live as a multi-stream now. We actually usually do it on Thursdays at 11 a.m. Pacific, but this is a special broadcast because my special guest has a special event coming up, and I will introduce her in a moment. As people are joining the live broadcast, I want to say hello to those who are watching in the replay. I hope you find some light, some encouragement, some blessing here. And I invite you to like, subscribe, share, comment, click that little bell so you get notifications. I'm going to tell you why this is called Charmed Life. I sometimes need to remind everyone or tell the story again about Charmed Life. Well, it is the name of the podcast, which this is the live video version of the podcast, and you can find the actual podcast on Apple, Spotify, any way that you get your podcasts. And for these that we are doing live, I also add some extra teaching and stuff if you listen to the audio. So if you like to listen, it is well worth your time, and there's something extra there for you as well. The reason this is called Charmed Life is because when I was in my spiritual awakening process, I had my spirit guides come to me and tell me that life is charmed and that I am one of the charmed. But in that indication, it wasn't like I'm one of the only charmed. We are all charmed because life is itself magical. Life, just being able to have spirit create a physical form, is magical. And that's what charm means. It means magic. And now there's something else that is involved with that, and that has to do with the fact that I have ancestry in Ireland, and I have a lot of leprechaun energy in my spirit guide team. Yes, leprechauns are real. They are an elemental being. So that's a part of it. That's all a part of it. But anyway, welcome everyone who is here now. I want to introduce you to my guest. Oh, before I do, hi, Rachel. Let me also just bring your attention to the couple of things that I have for you. And that is a program that is called Easy Intuition and Meditation. This is a 30-day journey where 30 days you get a meditation or a contemplative educational lesson about opening and making best friends and upgrading your intuition, or to get a meditation practice upgraded or start one that you love. And there are also lessons on divination and human design. It's amazing. So it's a 30-day journey that you get to, it's delivered to you every day. You also get to kind of self-pace it and revisit it for a whole year. Can I tell you how much value there is in there? The lessons and the high quality meditations that you have access to be able to deeply attune your spiritual instrument in your spiritual life. And then to add to that, there are 2 bonus group coachings that are coming up in August 8th, which is the Lionsgate portal. And the second one, I can't remember, it's sometime later in August, but you can join now and start your journey now, because again, it is something that is self-paced, but also delivered to you daily. And so I want to make sure that you guys know about that. And then we also have Empowered Empath, which is available to you right now. That's Modern Mystic. I'm trying to find my links. Where is it? Empowered Empath. And this is for those who are highly empathic, highly sensitive. And especially I want to invite people who have an open emotional solar plexus in their human design chart. And so this is also self-paced. There are already some lessons there, and they're being delivered twice per week for the next couple of weeks. And then in August, starting August 1st, we have bonus group coaching, because that's a self-paced program. Now, without further delay, I want to introduce my very special guest. Now, she is an abundance and light activation coach and an author, and her name is Petia Kolibova-Burns. And I hope I forgot. I always double check how to say the name. I'm so excited to hear about her abundance activation process. So welcome. Welcome to the show, Petia. Did I say your last name's right?
You said it perfectly, the
Oh,
whole
good.
thing. I feel like you've been practicing. Yes.
I
Yes.
think I did. I did actually a little bit practice. So Kolibova, is that Russian or Ukrainian?
It's Czech, from Czech
It's
Republic.
Czech. Oh, you're from Czech. Oh, that's
Yes.
wonderful. Oh, I love it. So, well, welcome to the show and welcome to the United States. Even though I know you are
13 years later, but thank you. Thank you so much for the warm
we're
welcome.
so happy you're here.
Right? Oh, so beautiful to be here. And it's so fascinating because, like, everyone, it's like, oh, you have such a beautiful name, but nobody can pronounce it, you know? So, but it's really fun because it really starts the conversation and the
Mhm.
curiosity from people.
Yeah.
And I feel like it just opens people up more because
Mm.
then you can, like, each of us see our own uniqueness. So I
Yeah.
think it's really beautiful and a great conversation starter, right? When people
Yeah.
try to guess where you're from.
Yeah, exactly. So I should have just asked instead of guessing, "Hey, look at you. I have a big old mason jar too." Both drinking out of a big mason jar.
Yep. In this summer heat, you really get to do that.
Yes, yes. We're both over here on the West Coast burning up, and I know the rest of the country is right now too. Well, I want to hear all about your work. Would you mind telling us what it means to be an abundance activation coach, or tell us about your journey? Tell us about this process. I'm super interested in because I could use some abundance activation. I mean, I guess we all could, right? That's the journey of being a human.
I love that question, and to make it really short, because I feel like we could be sitting here for hours and I can be telling you my journey and why I'm being who I'm being and why I'm doing what I'm doing. But in a short, I truly feel that I became the one that I really needed on my journey. Because when I was growing up, I was living in scarcity. And
Yeah,
when I say scarcity, it doesn't mean poverty. We have to really differentiate those
true.
two. Poverty is when your basic needs are not met. The scarcity can be scarcity of love, scarcity of energy, scarcity of feeling safe, scarcity of really not seeing yourself as worthy and
Yeah.
deserving. And that's what I've been, raised in, the scarcity of time and energy and just never feeling enough. And as I was going through my journey, like facing like mental and physical abuse by my stepfather that led me
Mm.
into feeling unworthy and undeserving and unlovable, toxic relationships, not only with men but also with myself, because I completely block myself from the outside world and just was running away from myself. And that led me into attempt of suicide, almost
Oh
two
no.
decades of eating disorder, like again not seeing the richness of life and really feeling like I shouldn't be even here, that I'm just taking up space for someone else who is more special than me. So
Mm.
going through this, I really had to rewrite the beliefs that I had about people, about others, about what does it even mean to be alive and to be here, and find a deeper connection than just outsourcing my happiness and worthiness. And
Mhm.
throughout this journey, as I was learning, and I love that you were talking about human design, I do have a open solar plexus, so
Oh
deeply
yeah.
resonating.
Yeah.
I am a sacral generator,
Mm.
5-1.
Me too. I'm 5'1".
There you go. The two leaders here. I just love that. And I feel like coming back to myself really helped me to become the channel and the vessel for the possibilities and the abundance. And not just only in my life, but I started to notice that people around me got activated
Oh yeah.
into the possibilities, into what can you really create when you are unapologetic and true to yourself. So I started to notice it. And then when you step into that embodiment, when you're like, oh, okay, this is not just a coincidence,
Mhm.
um, it's just so beautiful because it really shifted my perspective on the world, on myself, and what is really possible. And that's when I put that label on abundance,
Mm.
abundance coach, abundance activation call, like coach, because I realized that each and every one of us has a unique codes that we come here with. And when you activate them within yourself, when you embody them within yourself, you can activate them in others. And it's so beautiful to see people blossoming and coming to life, coming back to life and back to themselves.
Wow, that's amazing. I would love to hear about the process and how do you activate those codes? Can one activate those codes? I mean, I think we do have to activate them on our own, but when we have a mentor, a guide, a coach to hold space, then we can like exponentially grow that, can't we? Tell me all about the process. How do we do this? How do we activate these codes?
I love that. So there are a couple things, because I do believe that we don't need to. So there are two aspects of this. I do believe that we are like, we have a direct connection to whatever you believe.
Yeah.
God, source, universe, angels, spirits. There is a direct connection. And I'm very spiritual. My husband is Christian, and he goes to the church, reads the Bible. And for me, I honor him and I respect him because that is his connection. For me, I say, well, I talk to the universe, God, source, whatever you want to call it, in a shower. Like, like I feel like I don't need to read a Bible. I don't need to go to the church. There's a direct connection, how you can ask and receive and activate these things within you. What happens, and it also through, human design and many other different tools, very often we are conditioned. Very often our bodies are not pure channels anymore because there is so many toxins in the environment, so many poisons and toxins in our water, in our food, and unfortunately it's building up in our bodies. So it's sometimes challenging to just like sit and channel, and it because you're channel yourself, like you really get to take care of yourself and your vessel. And so that's the one thing I do believe we can do it and activate it ourselves. And on the other hand, I feel like when you're still going through this deconditioning and rewriting the old beliefs and having so many layers of who do you think you should be or could be in the world, instead of really seeing yourself, then having a guide, having a mentor, having a coach, it's very helpful. And that's why I started to do this year. I got really, I got this download to be doing abundance activation calls with women, so I can really activate the abundance. And for me, it was like paying it forward because I was already pregnant, and I'm like, I don't know what my life and business be like when the baby is here. It's like, talk about complete trust and surrender, right? So I wanted to really pay it forward. So I have created a process where I guide you through with me. One, being in my energy again. I have activated those codes. So being in my energy, being in my presence, or being on a call with me, it's already like activating something within you because you're open, receptive, and you ask for it, right? Ask and you shall receive. And when I do these beautiful calls, I help people to get clear awareness on what's holding them back from attracting and receiving abundance, really seeing the blind spots, because again, we're conditioned, we cannot see that clearly. And also create action plan, because I don't want people to come on 30 minutes call with me and feeling better and feeling inspired and then go back to the same things, back to the same habits. So we really uncover and looking at the lack thinking, hidden challenges that might be really sabotaging them from healing through the blocks and receiving the abundance and amplifying the impact. Because a lot of women that I work with, and I almost want to dare to say that all of them, they're not money motivated. They're impact and freedom and peace motivated. And when they have this motivation, the money comes to support their mission. So when I jump on these calls, like the people, they really feel like re-energized and renewed and just like really realign with their abundance, with the possibilities, seeing clearly, and really knowing what they can do to shift it, to activate the abundance. And for each of them, it's going to be really different. For some of them, it can be ancestral healing. For some of them, it can be working on their worthiness. For some of them, it can be, like working on their boundaries. Some of them, it's creating a different relationship with money. Like, it's different. Every person, every soul is different. And of course, like, I don't come here to fix anything in 30 minutes, but I'm bringing a new perspective and activating something new in them they couldn't see before.
So, did I just hear a person isn't, typically or naturally money motivated, but they don't have to be, that they can be impact and freedom motivated, and then the money will come anyway, as long as they
Absolutely.
maybe remove whatever blocks or limitations have and activate the codes within them.
Absolutely. The thing is that I personally believe in holistic abundance,
Sure. Yes.
because I did it when I was focusing on money and work and, achievement. And even though I achieved money, more than I ever did in the past, I wasn't fulfilled
Yeah.
because I wasn't focusing on the holistic abundance. How am I feeling? How is my health? How are my relationships? How am I contributing to the world? So I teach about holistic abundance. And then when you do that, the money comes because you change who you're being and you change your relationship with money. And I truly want for women and people who come here to create an impact to have money. It's like, Abraham Hicks says, like, you cannot get poor enough to help poor people.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't come here to be poor and to be struggling. When you can activate, go ahead.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. Go ahead.
When you can like really activate the abundance in your life, it starts to trickle into all other areas of your life. And when you do achieve the money, you're fulfilled.
Yeah.
It's not just let's get the money. I always say, like, it's so easy. Let's sit down on 1 hour strategy session. I will tell you how to make more business, like more money in your business. But it's not necessarily make you feel fulfilled, because that's what I have done. If you don't change who you're being, if you don't change your mindset, then no amount of money and possessions will really help you until you really align with that holistic abundance on all of the areas. Because I don't feel like people are really successful if they have to be sacrificing their health or their relationships to make money. I mean, for what,
I used to work in a totally different industry, and it was sales oriented. It was the booze industry too, as liquor. So you can imagine, like, not the same as this industry that I'm in now, but it was sales too, which is so harsh and, so honestly, it's toxic masculinity. And when I would work with different people every single day inside the company. And so every time they would greet one another, there was this standard greeting that was like, "How are you?" Oh, and I'd be like, "Oh, I'm great. I'm good. How have you been?" And they're like, "Oh, just working my ass off, 14 hours a day, 8 days a week." And I like, one person I almost said, didn't say this. My subtext was like, "Didn't you have a heart attack last year?" Like, why is that a brag? It was really so sad. This was the pattern of me meeting people every day. It was a brag that they were depriving their health. And, like, the complaint was a brag. And they were also, compassionately, I could see they were complaining because they were unhappy and they didn't know how to finally be there. This destination addiction, this chase, this dopamine addiction that we have in the chase
Yeah.
too. Mm-hmm.
I see you. And I feel like a lot of it's shifting, because I really
Yeah.
feel like a lot of people are awakening. And especially with what happened in, 2019, 2020,
Yeah.
when people start awakening and they had a time to sit
Yeah. Yes. Be with
themselves.
themselves.
Yes, because I mean, I know it wasn't fun to go through what we went through for the, past few years, but also it opens up to more truth, more connection, and I feel like so many awakening came from that, and so much, like, so many businesses came from
That's
that,
true.
because people are like, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to go back to the sales job. I don't want to be hustling and working hard. It comes back into, like, when was the last time when you check in with yourself? Like, what do I really need? How do I really feel? And it's so sad what you're saying, because it's so fascinating. So I'm coming from, we mentioned it, from Czech Republic, from Europe. And the way I was raised there, and I don't live there for over 20 years now. So times are changing. But when I was growing up, it was working hard, hustle, shut up, and grind. And then you compare yourself with everybody else. Do I have a bigger house? Do I have a better car? Do I have a better wife or husband? How are my kids? It was always like this scarcity and comparison, but it was like always like a hustle. And then people were unhappy and living for the weekends, living for the vacation, drinking almost every day. Like drinking there, it's so normal, and I grew up in wine region, so it's just like wine after lunch, one with the dinner, then before you go to bed, so you sleep better. And it's just like numbing and running away. And I just see that, like, I don't want to work hard. I work my booty off. Like, there were times that I had 4 jobs, like 4 side hustles, and I was exhausted and tired. When I used to live in Spain, I had 2 jobs, and I was able to sleep only like 2 or 3 hours. And I got into a car accident, and thankfully nothing happened. It was just like a bump because I didn't see car coming. Thankfully nothing happened, but it was such a wake-up call. Like, what am I grinding for so hard? Why am I hustling so hard? And my husband, he's from California, from Chino. And he was raised and born in California. And when he looks at me, he is like, oh, I'm so inspired by you, by how hard you're working. I was like, don't reward me if I don't know. It's like he sees that as something like, wow, you're so disciplined and hardworking. And I'm like, yeah, but I don't want to be rewarded for that. It's like having a work ethic. It's one thing. I will do what I said I will do. But being rewarded for that, you see, like, a different backgrounds will have different desires on like how to get to the things. Like my husband, he's a 1-3 money Jenny, emotional money Jenny, and he's always like doing million things at the same time. It's like, I am tired just watching you, like how many things you're doing. And he feels satisfied with his busyness.
Yes, right. He needs to burn it off. I've come to have compassion for people that have so much energy. If they get canceled on, they can get very frustrated because they needed that thing to be able to use some of that energy they have, and that's totally not a concern of mine. I'm a reflector, so it's like that is not how I operate.
Not at all. Not at all. And it's so beautiful, you're a reflector. I had a couple of clients who are reflectors, and it's such a unique way how you guys operate and work and show up in the world. It's really beautiful. But like it's just like looking at what do you feel like it has to take. And I'm allowing myself for the ease, because true abundance for me, it's to have the freedom, to have the inner peace, not having to have to, like, if I choose to work, I will work. But it's a choice, not because I have to. Not because I feel like I have to, or I have to prove myself. And just even like, like waking up in the morning without alarm. Being able to have a lunch with my husband in the middle of the day, go watch movie at 3 p.m. It's all of that. It's abundance, because it has to say so much about how we built our life. And when you can be in that energy, work smarter than not harder. It's truly, and this is something that I am personally like proud of showing how it can be easy.
Yes, but because the universe gives freely and easily. We are abundant. And I did these things recently. I had this, it's so funny that I had a little epiphany, because it's so obvious. It's like empirical. The fact that we do have enough resources on this planet. We just literally do. Now, the unconsciousness, the pain, the suffering, the how things are messed up, but technically speaking, there is plenty for everyone on this planet. So it is our mindset, or the limiting thoughts that we collectively have that there isn't, that is probably causing it to not be in the enough for everybody. But we actually have more than enough abundance for everyone, but we aren't raised that way. And we are conditioned that, achievement and money is the antithesis to ease or play or pleasure. These two are divorced. It's like these are your two parents. They don't get along, and you can spend time with this one or that one, but not with both. And so sometimes you make enough money that you can have some pleasure, but those are completely separate. And then after you have that pleasure, that vacation or the whatever else, you better get back to it. But there's a divorce, there's a divide between the two. And you
Mhm.
say, absolutely not. They are they are both abundance. They're both the same cloth.
Yes. And I feel like, like I love how you beautifully describe it. And I feel like it's the perspective.
Mm-hmm.
It's really what is your perspective and what is your truth and what are your beliefs about things? Because if you believe it has to be hard, it will be hard.
Yeah.
And it's so interesting because, like, and I know you too, like you do meditations, affirmations, and all these beautiful modalities. And when I started with affirmations years ago, I needed to rewrite the belief that it's hard to make money.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so I created an affirmation that I started to use. The more ease I feel, the easier I make money. It
Mm-hmm.
helped me tremendously to overcome that hardworking and hustle mentality. And I realized that, the first 5-figure month that I have made years ago, I was in Czech Republic with my grandma for a month. 3 weeks out of that, I wasn't working. I just did a couple calls in a week. And I made back then $13,000, which was like, wow, I've never done this before. What I realized though is that this belief again became limiting.
Oh.
Now listen, and I realized it just recently, like thanks to my pregnancy, because there are sometimes times that you're not feeling high vibe and you're not feeling the ease. So I
Mm.
was thinking, if I'm not feeling ease, I cannot make money.
Whoa. Yeah, you conditioned yourself too far.
Exactly. Exactly. And it was like, wow. So then I had to check in with myself. I'm like, well, is it possible to create abundance and bring in money, even if I'm not feeling on my A game,
Yeah.
even if I'm feeling tired? And I had to like create the concept of proof. There was a, few weeks ago, I was really tired, like pregnancy, like you get no sleep. And then after
Mm-hmm.
the babies, I don't want to even think about that. But like, I'm not getting like any sleep for past 8 months. And there was one day that I was like really, really tired and I had 2 sales calls. And it was so interesting because I'm like, well, I committed to it. I gotta show up. I showed up and I closed them both.
Nice.
And it was easy and it was beautiful conversation. It was just exciting, invigorating. I was like so excited to support them in their life, in their business, what they're creating. It was fun. And after the calls, I took like 30 minutes nap. And
Good.
but the thing is that I proved myself that I don't have to feel ease. I don't
Yeah.
have to be on my eighth game. So that's why I say it's so important to check with your beliefs, because sometimes we think like, oh, I'm doing a good thing. I'm doing affirmations and I'm saying this, but what is it creating? So when you look at your reality, really look at how are you getting it,
Mm-hmm.
what beliefs took you there, and also remembering that what you're experiencing right now, it's old news.
That's right. Yeah.
We have to remember that, because sometimes we get like frustrated, like, oh, I'm doing so much, or I'm showing up more than ever before, or like I'm feeling more aligned, and why it's nothing happening. Well, because there is still the old momentum.
Yeah, the
So
seasonal lag. There's
yeah.
that we are nature, and we forget that sometimes. We think that we're just walking around on nature, but there's actually that's organic, that's natural for there to be a lag. The cold the time of like the December 20th, 21st is when we are furthest away from the sun. And so it but we don't have the coldest day for like a good month or so. because of a seasonal lag. So even though we're literally here, it takes time for it to actually show up in the reality. And so we have the same thing. Like I'm just, expanding on how Petia said it's old news. And that's why we were frustrated. We're like, wait, I worked on this. Why is it here? Give a
Yeah.
little time, just stick with it.
Yeah.
But then that is also like a refinement process. We get to say, oh, okay, here, it's still here in my reality, and then fortify even more from within about it.
Mm-hmm. So beautiful. I love that you brought it in. It's like expanding,
Yes.
always expanding.
I want to know. So like I said, you have a special event. You are pregnant, as you've mentioned a couple of times. How far away are we?
35 weeks as of now.
Ooh, very close.
I know
Very
everybody.
close.
It's like, oh, you're so close. Like, are you so excited? I was like, I feel like I'm still preparing, like mentally
Yeah.
and physically. And I keep talking to our baby girl. I'm like, you
Mhm.
stay as long as you want. I don't need to sleep.
Well, you won't sleep afterward either for a little bit in that fourth trimester, as they call it. Well, I was wondering, tell us about how you might be having your little bit of a baby moon for a bit, but you do activation calls. I want to hear about the ways that people can work with you, and to be able to unlock these activation codes that you provide us the facility to do.
I love that. Thank you so much for the invitation. And right now, I'm still doing the abundance activation call because, the baby girl is coming in like 5, 6 weeks. We'll see when she chooses to come.
Yeah.
So before she comes, I'm still offering the free abundance activation calls, which I believe you have a link. If not, I'll just
Yeah.
send it to you.
Yeah, we have it right here. That's
Yes, that's it.
That's it. So it's
You're amazing.
petiakolibova.com/abundance activation process. It's in the show notes also, however you're listening or watching.
So that's what I'm focusing right now. And then when I'm gone, I'm going to be bringing back on my courses about manifesting money, and then also unapologetically worthy course. Those are the two ways on how you can be working on, your own pace, your own unique pace. And then we will see when the baby girl lets me come back.
That's so amazing. You're still doing the calls. And yes, I was recently on your podcast, Unapologetically Abundant. Oh, it hasn't been, I mean, we recorded it. It hasn't been
Not
shared
yet.
yet. Okay, good. So when that happens, be sure to follow me on Instagram if you aren't already. But of course, follow Petya. I pulled a couple of cards for you. Two of them came out. Would you like to?
Yeah,
And what is
please.
So I feel like these are about just everything that is top of mind for you. Obviously, the expansion of your family and how your business is going to continue to flow. And so let's see what we have here. So, divine masculine. Well, that's good. You have a divine masculine partner, so he's going to be helping out a lot. That's what I'm
I
seeing
can
here.
see that.
Yeah. Well, you have that on your side though too, but what I'm feeling about that too, besides your partner, and is that you have your strong divine masculine will be able to support a lot of this and to be that support for you, as you're also in the place of your divine feminine working, and doing her beauty and doing the strength that she is, that these two come into alignment and balance within you. It says that it supports our strong, focused, and active side, allowing it to express itself while helping to bring us our dreams and ideas into form. Ooh, and you're bringing something into form, your baby girl, with kindness and wisdom. Your second card is Universal Love, which is the pinnacle of this particular deck. And it's the number 44, that angel number. The frequency of universal love activates the connection we feel to each other, to our planet, and to the whole existence to whole existence itself. So, wow, 22 and 44, those are the numerology numbers that you got for these
Wow.
cards.
How
Very, very
beautiful.
auspicious, really beautiful. With the universal love card,
22.
yeah,
Can I share something what came
please.
just through right now? It's so
Yeah.
funny. So due date for our baby girl, it's 21st of August, which is
Uh-huh.
8
Yeah.
21. But I have a very dear VIP client who works with me for over 2 years, and her birthday is on 22nd. And my husband, he always gets confused, and he was like, yeah, our baby girl is coming, I think 22nd or 21st. So it's 22, and 44 it's 8.
Yeah.
So be her due date.
Oh, I love it. So she's saying, "Hey, hey, mom." I love this, but the universal love card to the message I'm feeling for them that they want me to share is, this, but I want to reflect it for you because they're asking me to. That this is a part of you contributing to the universal love, to the universe. This purpose of bringing through the soul, bringing through the magic of the life that she will live lead on this planet, her path of light. This is all a part of the expansion that you're contributing, and so much gratitude for you to you for from the universal light about the fact that you're doing this, and of course your baby daddy, your husband. So really great. You're going to have a lovely time, I know it.
Thank you. Thank you. I so deeply appreciate you. Thank you for sharing your intuitive wisdom, and how beautiful. I receive it.
Oh, wonderful. Well, everyone, this is Petia Kolibova-Burns, and she is still doing her abundance activation process calls. And so get in there while you can. Listen to her podcast, Unapologetically Abundant. Is there anything else we should have mentioned before we let you go?
This is so perfect, and I'm so thankful and honored that we could be here and have this beautiful conversation. And I know that just by being here, you and me and our listeners and viewers, they already got activated and something
Yeah.
shifted deep within them. So I really honor them for being here, for showing up, whether they're live or whether they're listening or watching the replay. You're taking the steps to be activating the abundance in your life.
Oh, thank you for reminding us of that. Being in the energy, giving
Yes.
yourself the gift of listening or watching, being in
Mhm.
your energy with the activated abundance codes already. So I received that too. Thank you. Thanks for coming on. I really appreciate you. I hope we'll see you again on the podcast after you get ready to be
Ready to
doing
be
things again.
adulting again.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for being on. All right, everyone. That is our program for you. Remind you to please like, subscribe, share, comment, click the little bell so you get notifications. And of course, you can listen to the podcast, listen to it on the podcast because I always add a little something extra there. Be sure to check the show notes so you can connect with Petia. You can also find in the show notes of the different offers that I have, including my 30-day journey of easy intuition and meditation. See, I named that easy because sometimes we feel like it's hard to connect with our intuition, or it's hard to have a meditation practice. It's hard, hard, hard. So I made this easy in the sense that it's delivered to you easily. It's available to you, and the cost is really, really easy, extremely affordable. I made some really affordable offers so that people can kind of be fed very easily. And of course, Empowered Empath. Find those in the show notes. And I will see you here on Thursday at 11 a.m. Pacific. And I love you. Thanks for tuning in. I love you, whoever you are.